off. The lead is starting to shrink. At the 11-mile mark, his leg speed started to slow just a little bit. These guys that were back over 100 yards are now beginning to close a little bit. I think race here within the next 2 miles.
All right, Tim, thank you very much. So let's take a quick look at Mr. Karori and get our expert's opinion right now. Greg?
His last measured mile was 5 minutes, so he's starting to slow down a little bit. The pack will eventually get him as long as he keeps running that pace. He may be gathering himself, but that's not usually how history explains what's going on.
Look at these 5 guys, shoulder to shoulder, chasing. It's a beautiful thing. Simon Karori is the leader. These 5 guys have been running like this for the past 4 or 5 miles, and they're coming up to Wellesley College. Now, let's try to identify them from left to right. We can start. Here's the guy they're pursuing, and they're getting closer as we get to Wellesley College, who's just about halfway through this race. Let's take, I don't know, as we try to identify these guys. Juma Ikangaa is on the left. Now, you guys take over from there.
Hussein's in the middle.
Frank? Good.
Mirende, number 34, has been consistently to the left of the screen. He likes that. And what you find in this race is when you get in that pack, you find a place where you're comfortable and you tend to stay there. Ibrahim Hussein has a history of liking being right in the middle. Ikangaa usually likes to be right on Hussein's shoulder, but I think Ikangaa on the left there is doing something very smart. I think he's realized that Hussein has always been able to run off him. If he's all the way out on the right-hand side, Ibrahim Hussein can't stay on his right-hand shoulder.
So now, the left lane, Juma Ikangaa in the breakdown lane, but he's not breaking down at the moment. It is a fast lane for Kenya. It's the Kenyans versus Juma Ikangaa at this moment, paced by Simon Karori of Kenya, the mile mark 13. And we're just halfway through this Boston Marathon. 1:02:06.
1:02:41 at halfway. They're screaming.
But it's interesting, Frank, it is Kenya versus Ikangaa at the moment. They all speak Swahili, so their Kenyans aren't passing any secrets by. But Juma has got to feel like a lone ranger out there compared to what he's running against and with right now.
Well, we're getting a pretty good example of what's called social distance, I think. We've got some team running on the left, and we've got someone who feels just a little bit on the outside on the right. But it's not to his disadvantage here, because later on he could tuck in behind, let them break the wind, and kind of watch them.
They wouldn't be...
Let's go back to the men. The only shifting we can see is from left to right, east and west, not north and south, as we go across Route 128. Coming out of Wellesley and 128 as we approach in just a few minutes the Newton Fire Station and the first of the 4 Heartbreak Hills.
I was going to say earlier, and it's sort of the obvious now, Nyanguchi has a high back kick where the other ones are very sort of smooth on the ground. Look how high back his feet. That's wasted motion. Sometimes in the marathon, wasted motion ends up hurting you.
So now it's down to 3 as we find that Mirende is still in there with Hussein and Ikangaa with Nyanguchi having fallen back.
To the mid. Oh, we're dropping Ikangaa. A move.
So Hussein and Mirende have moved ahead just a little bit of Juma Ikangaa. Whether this is significant or not remains to be seen. The men's mile mark 19, 1:32:28. Let's see if Juma can recover from this quick Kenyan burst. Whether it's a strategy on their part or not remains to be seen. Frank?
They were about 5:02 for the next mile. They went downhill about 15 feet. So they've settled into about 5 minutes per mile. And if they can be dropping Juma Ikangaa running 5 minutes a mile, he's tired. And as Greg says, he's not in the place where he likes to normally be.
This is Heartbreak Hill. No, actually, this is between the 2 hills. So they got a little ways to go. This doesn't look good for Juma.
And no one...
8 rubles back in the CIS.
Ibrahim Hussein quickly talking to his countrymen, said, come on up here.
I don't understand that.
Well, he realizes he can beat him now. And what he's trying to do is preserve second place for his buddy. That's what he's trying to do. He's saying, come on up. I'll pull you along at least to the top of the hill. You see, he did that test. Now Ibrahim Hussein knows he's got the race won because he can run away from Mirende anytime he wants. He's now trying to pull his countrymen to the top of Heartbreak Hill.
I think Ibrahim Hussein knew he could run away from all those guys throughout the whole race anytime he wanted to.
She was pressured into running in Los Angeles and wouldn't do it. Where they chose the Olympic team, she came here to run anyway.
On the men's side, the men's mile mark 21. So 5 miles to go for Ibrahim Hussein. He's in control of the men's race. Olga Markova battling to stay in control of the women's race. We'll come back with more of the exciting wire-to-wire coverage of the 96 running of the Boston Marathon right after this. Set a record, and that looks like it might have been just what happened.
It just, Pippic made a mistake and went with her. She blew up too.
And Pippic, we have a report that she's in 5th, and she is struggling also.
Let's go back to the men's race. Greg?
Hussein has gone 4:51, 4:51, 4:56. If he runs 4:45 a mile for the next 2 miles, he's got a shot at the course record, 2:07. It's incredible. Well, he's got 1 hill to go, though.
And he's got $25,000 riding on it, too, if you want to put it in those terms, because if he breaks the course record, he does pick up an extra $25,000. He's about to pocket $60,000 for winning this thing, but he can add another $25K if he indeed can run that speed, and I'm sure he's aware of that.
He knows it. And he is still motoring along. I'm waiting for his split here exactly so we can know exactly what he runs. 25 miles, 2:02.16, which means he was 4:55 for that mile, going up a slight hill. He is about, wouldn't you say, Greg, 10 to 15 seconds behind the record at this point. He's a little over 2 hours and 8 minutes.
Course record 2:04.53 today, 2:02.17. So he is on that pace.
He's close. He's real close. And he's past. Even the guys in the car know it.
The clock says 2:07.10. He's got, the record is 2:07.51.
He's not waving and he's not jogging. He's flying.
Now he wants to break 2 hours and 8 minutes, which you always do in this. Okay, he can't get the record. I want to get under 2:08.
Espinosa looking to make his Olympic team.
Here comes Ibrahim Hussein, who in his 3rd Boston Marathon, and quite a performance it was. $2:08.14 for winner Ibrahim Hussein, who has won his 3rd Boston Marathon. For Hussein, his 3rd Boston Marathon, but this one appears to be his most emotional.
Pinheiro is 2nd. Espinosa 3rd.